Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin, we'll need to take a look at our risk disclosure. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's about to be published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the news portal here and see what news we have in store today that could have a potential impact on the market. So we're going to go ahead and open up Financial Juice here. Okay, so looks like we have some sort of phone call that's taking place here that could with the Chinese president and U.S. president here. Has a potential impact of impacting markets. We have a couple of members of the Feds, Moran and Daly, speaking at 11 and 2:30 respectively today. And then looks like we have OPEC's, more on the tail end of the session, probably shouldn't impact as much today, reporting or month triple witching, I guess, some expiration of some options here, I guess, coming in here at 4 p.m. Today, which again, probably should not impact us all that much in the market. So relatively light in the way of news here. So again, Friday being, some more of a capital preservation Friday, light in the way of news. But if opportunities present itself, certainly we should explore them. At least from a news perspective, we don't have anything in the way that could compromise those moves. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and turn our attention now to the dark screen. It should be up now. Hey, Azan, good morning. Hopefully you see my screen. Morning, Dirk. Okay, perfect. All right. So again, like I was saying, it's a relatively light day in news. I guess maybe the biggest event would be the outcome of the conversation that Trump and President Xi is having at this point. Again, otherwise relatively light in news today. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn our attention to the markets. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start here with the gold market, and we'll just go ahead and pause here and make sure that the market is indeed visible. The chart is indeed visible. I do have a chart of the gold market, so if I can get some notification here that you guys are able to see the charts, I'll go ahead and start with my review. All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to go ahead and remove some of my drawings here. Taking a look at this daily chart. Okay, looking at the daily chart, you can see that maybe we've gotten a little bit of a slowdown in the momentum here to the upside in the gold market. We have a gap. I don't know if this gap is a result of some sort of rollover or whether this is an indication that there's, maybe some interest here to the downside in this market. Now we are hovering right around an area where I would expect to be somewhat of a level of demand. So I would say that this is a relatively important level to hold for the gold, okay, so we have kind of a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern, kind of establishing here, or actually already completed, I should say. And we had a bearish candle yesterday, and we really haven't made any strides in reversing that trend, so to speak, with the current candle. All right. So if anything, it maybe even giving a little bit of an indecisive candle as to what direction they want to take the market. We're at a level now that I would expect that there's a certain level of support here, given that this was a past location where price had seen some initiative price action here to the upside. Okay, assuming so, what one of two things could happen here. We can continue in this kind of range, kind of price action, or there's a possibility that we could break maybe to the downside and maybe revisit 3611. Okay, looking at the daily chart, or we can get maybe a little bit of a head fake, right? We can see maybe a break lower and then price head higher, right? So right now, if anything, what I can say is that we are in some sort of consolidation pattern, really not showing any range, right? Really not showing any indication as to necessarily the direction. If I had to guess in any direction right now, the fact that we have this gap here is indicating maybe there is a little bit more in the way of downside pressure in the gold market. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. So looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see that we are beginning to maybe create some structure here to the downside, right? You can see that we're starting to create lower highs and lower lows in this market. And now we're at an area, as I mentioned in the daily chart, where you would expect to see some buyers, right? This is the last area where we had some initiative price action that left an area. The expectation is that this level here would have served as some sort of support level. That was not in the cards. We actually broke this level and actually tested that level from the bottom, and that has served as an area of some resistance. So again, we're starting to see maybe something in the way of some bearish structure kind of developing here in the gold market. Right now, again, I would say that the price is currently in range until we make a new low, and the low that I'm looking at right now is this 3360 level. Okay, so you can see that price has made it down to this 3360 level and reversed, but it didn't go too far before it found some sellers. So again, indicating that we are in some sort of downside structure in this market. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart and see what we can kind of glean off the 30-minute chart. Again, you can see that we are continuing to kind of staircase our way lower, right, in this market. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the not the initial balance, but the fixed range volume profile here to the right, and get a sense of where is price in relation to yesterday's price action. So we're going to go ahead and locate the start of Thursday, and we're going to drag that across to the close of Thursday. Okay, and you can see that while we are in some sort of bearish structure, we did manage in the overnight to break the range to the upside, and honestly, we've been able to so far hold. Okay, so hold, maybe not hold so much. To see. We're right at that level right now. Okay, so we managed to come down to this level. We reversed away from it. Okay, and rallied a bit, and then found some sellers at this level. Okay, so we were not able to make a new high before we found some sellers. So the question now becomes, is this going to be the beginnings of maybe a downside move in this market? You can see, if you look to the left, right, it seems like we are, staircasing to the downside. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the initial balance. We'll look at the initial balance across the various markets here and see if that, kind of offers us any further context or insights into this market. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the Asia market and see what the Asia market was able to accomplish with this market. Okay, so you can see that Asia offered a nice long opportunity in this market. We extended to the upside. We had a rather strong It seems that nobody wanted um, anyone to participate to the long side, right? We got a pretty nasty reversal candle, only to find some more buyers and reach the 200% extension. Really would have been really difficult here to hold this trade long without potentially getting stopped out here, right? So we got a nice move that broke the initial balance range during Asia. We got an equally strong reversal candle back in the other direction. I go session to session, Aslan. I go session to session. I'd like to understand. I'd like to understand what the market was able to accomplish per session. Okay, so as you can see here, we got a nice candle that would indicate that maybe we would see some bullish price action to the upside. We got immediately a candle to the opposite direction, and found some buyers. And then at that point, we reached the 200% extension of the initial balance range. Would have been very difficult to sit, I guess, participate in this. Obviously, with some of the ways I trade, probably most likely would have avoided this because I wait for a lower time frame confirmation before I entertain a trade like this, and this is the reason for it. Okay, so in any case, I would say that there's still some I would say buyers in the Asia market, right? Right. Yeah, it most likely would have triggered some stops, right? Triggered some stops, and then it headed higher, right? So in any case, regardless, right? Price still remains above the range. Okay, we are seeing some structure here of late that indicates maybe that we're gonna maybe head lower. Let's take a look now at the London session and see what London was able to accomplish in this market. So we're going to go ahead and open up London. All right, and take a look at London, and London was pretty much in range, right? So we got a nice move, right, in during the Asia session, although not the most straightforward of moves. And London has been in some sort of range, and we can continue in range for the remainder of the session. There's no reason that the market has to move in any direction, especially given that we are at the end of the week. And there might be folks that don't necessarily want to hold positions over the weekend, okay, without having a clear understanding as to the direction here. Okay, so right now during London, looks like we appear to be in some sort of range. Okay, so a couple other things here. We'll go ahead and move on to the failed auction. Yeah, well, I guess you maybe think of it as a failed auction, right? We did auction to the upside, but as far as that play, Aslan, that play is already completed, right? We pretty much reached the other side of the initial balance range, and there's really it would be difficult to at least as far as the failed auction. Failed auction is kind of reaching to one direction, failing, trying to get out in one direction, not being able to do it, and basically the expectation is that we would reverse the entire range once we got to close back inside an initial balance. So we've gone already and rotated through this. So to expect that we would continue lower, that's different than the failed auction play. Okay, that would be something else that at play, maybe a continuation trade off of VWAP or something along those lines. But this is no longer the failed auction satisfied the requirement here. Okay. All right. So so again, we are seeing some bearish price action. Okay. We are seeing some bearish price action. But we haven't really technically made a new low. Okay. I think these are still close. Maybe with this candle here in the next 12 or 15 minutes, maybe gives us a new low. Now, again, heading into this session, I was going to take a look. I was going to modify this over to the US session here, a regular session. Okay. So looking at this, we can see that we're creating a relatively narrow initial balance range for the day session. You can see that at least on the short term, and I guess maybe to the beginnings on the higher time frame, we're starting to see some signs of weakness in this market. Right, price is below our 90 MA, below our VWAP. Okay, so I'm going to be looking to see if we do manage to close below 33.79, let's say 33.75, let's say, because we're right around settlement. We're right around an area where we could, we could see maybe a reversal in price and continue to be in range price action. Okay, so difficult market just because of the fact that of the proximity of where price is at the moment. We're kind of in the middle of the swing. So middle of the swing, not really at the edges to really give us a nice area to kind of manage our risk. So me personally, I'm going to wait to see what direction they're going to take this, whether they're going to break the initial balance range to the downside, at which point I would say it's reasonably expectation that we could maybe come back as low as 36.70. Okay, would not be out of the realm of possibility if we do manage to extend the initial balance range to the downside. We are seeing some indications that maybe there is some interest, but we're not accelerating. Okay, at this point, with some of the moves that we're seeing here, we're not seeing the acceleration that we would expect to see in such a move. Okay, I'm going to take a look and see where we are on the ADR levels. Like I said, we are in the middle of the range, right? I'm gonna again remain on the. I'd like to see if we can get to some of these edges here, right? These are a couple of targets that we can use. Some intermediate targets we've kind of already spoke of, right? We have 36.70 down below. That seems like maybe a level that is going to reach before it decides on doing anything. But these levels down below, the ADR high and ADR low, offer us, good discounted locations to participate in some sort of reversal trade. So headed into the session, I guess if I had to pick a direction, I would say that the direction is lower. But I'm not. I can't say that I'm overly impressed with the momentum or the acceleration of this move to the downside. Okay, we're right at settlement price. Looks like there might be maybe some accumulation that's going on here. I'm not sure, but we're not seeing the acceleration that I would expect to see with the market being opened to the downside. Okay, so it could be an indication that there might be some folks maybe potentially collecting here or accumulating here to take the market higher. Okay, we'll have to see. So the initial balance is going to be my litmus test. If we're gonna get some initiative buying or selling, let the initial balance be my guide. If we can get price to exceed the range in either direction, then that will maybe give me some indication as to the direction they want to take the market. Until then, I think the best course of action would be to sit on my hands and wait for maybe some more clarity as to direction. But if I'm right now, I would say headed into the market, I would say that I'm looking at maybe a bit bearish, okay, in this market. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the crude oil market. Okay, looking at the crude oil market. We're going to go ahead and start with a daily chart. And again, I don't know. We seem to continue to barcode here, guys. Really not offering much in the way of direction. We had this kind of triangle pattern that we established. We broke up. Everybody was thinking that maybe we'd take the market higher, only to find more sellers. So again, really difficult to look for buys here. Okay, every attempt to head higher has been met with more selling. So, and on top of that, it appears that we are in some sort of range. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. It looks like again we're continuing to build some sort of consolidation pattern in this market. There is a move brewing. Okay, there is a move brewing. I just don't know what direction that move is. Now, if I had to pick, okay, if I had to pick what the direction would be is right, given the structure that we're seeing right now, I would say that it could very well be to the downside. Okay, but we are in some sort of consolidation pattern. So while we remain in this consolidation pattern, really is probably better. I'm probably better served and looking at a different market to entertain trades. Very difficult to trade a market that's kind of consolidating in this range. I have to be quite nimble, right, with the moves, and the moves are not often sustained in any direction. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour. Let's see what the 4-hour is offering us, if anything. So looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and see if I can turn off my initial balance here. Okay, so we're going to turn off initial balance. And you can see here we are again in some sort of downside structure. I'm going to adjust my lines here to kind of indicate where this consolidation pattern I'm witnessing here, if I can control it. Okay, so something like this, maybe that would kind of capture as many of these candles as I can here. Okay, so you can see here that we are in some sort of consolidation, right? So again, my best course of action, and this is like how many times that we've attempted to break lower. Well, we had one, we had two, and looks like we're looking maybe to look at a third here in the recent past here, right? So again, 4 hours really, if anything, seems like we are in some sort of bearish structure here to the downside. All my indicators are pointing to lower pricing. Prices below my 9 EMA, prices looking like it's below my VWAP, and I'm in some sort of bearish structure to the downside. Now, where could this stall? Well, down below here, right around the 62 level. We've been down that level before and have not managed to get below it. So 62 appears to again continue to be in a level that I'm going to be watching for maybe a possibility of a reversal in price, or is this going to be the opportunity where price is going to exceed that range and we head lower? Okay, so we'll have to see, wait and see here. Okay, so let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. So 30-minute chart. Again, you can see that we continue to be in some sort of bearish structure here. Okay, continue to staircase to the downside. I'm going to go ahead and open up my fixed range volume profile here and take a look and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. All right, so let's find the start of the session here. There it is. We'll drag that across to the close here, and you can see that price is below value, right? So indicating that there's still a fair amount of interest in this market to the downside. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and extend this line, and as long as price remains below this area of value, right, then I have to kind of err on the side of lower prices. Okay, so we had this value zone. We got some aggressive sellers to drive price lower, found some buyers. Buyers came back in and were able to take it back inside value. But again, sellers stepped back into this market. So again, classic range kind of price action, really not lacking a whole lot of direction in this market. Now, the fact that we were not able to make a new low after this break is significant. If this candle is able to close and say hold above, say this 6270 level, maybe we are in the beginnings, at least on this time frame, maybe we are in the beginnings of maybe a move back to the upside. Okay, if we are able to say hold 6280, right, and break above 63, maybe we are at the beginnings of maybe a possible move to the upside. As hard as that might sound for me to say, given this bearish structure, I would like to see price break above 63, hold 63, and then maybe I could use 6280 as kind of an area for my stop. That's kind of what I'm seeing at the moment here in the crude oil. Okay, let's take a look and see where ADR is. I think we might have. Okay, again, these ADR levels offer us locations for reversal in price. Look how price has managed to get to the ADR level and reversed, right? Did not have to take again counter trend. I agree, but did not have to risk all that much, right, to participate in a trade back to settlement, right? And basically risk I don't know, maybe 10, 15 ticks to the downside to participate in a move that paid me up to this level, paid me about 660 ticks. Okay, 55 ticks of movement back. Okay, so this here made for a very nice reversal trade in this market using the ADR low as kind of our reference level. Unfortunately for me, that's in the middle of my sleep. Okay, so let's so again, if price continues to show that is able to hold above 6280, then I would say that maybe there's an opportunity here, maybe for an upside move in this market. I do understand that I do remain in some sort of bearish structure, but you are seeing some evidence of buyers becoming more active here, right? buyers are becoming more active. We have some buyers step in. We're not strong enough. Buyers again stepped in and are becoming more active in these areas. Okay. So the question now becomes, do they have the participants to continue to drive price higher? I would say that what we need to be looking for is, see if it's able to break above 63 and hold, then maybe I can use 62.75 as maybe an area to stop for an impulsive move back to the upside. All right, let's take a look and see what Asia and London were able to do from an initial balance perspective. All right, so we see some bears here in the Asia market, right? So we get a nice extension here to the downside. All right, we got a reversal back to initial balance, and we found more bears. Okay, looking at the London market, okay, London appears to be more of the failed auction variety. Okay. But you can see that we did manage to auction down to the 100% extension. And now we are coming back inside, right? We broke inside this initial balance range, retraced here a bit. And now it looks like we found maybe the possibility of some more buyers in this market. So again, we're seeing some evidence that maybe we are in the beginnings of maybe a potential auction to the upside, okay, in this market. Okay. Yes. Again, it hits. Yeah. Again, it hit the, actually in this case, the 200% Oslang was down below. It actually hit the 100%, which was aligned with the average daily range. Okay. So this is more the 100%, not the 200%, before it reversed. Okay. Maybe in the Asia session was 200%, but on the London session was more of the 100% variety. Okay. All right, guys. So before we turn our attention to the equity markets, I do see that we have a fair number of folks here that are a little on the sidelines with respect to the likes. So I would encourage folks to hit the like button here. Continue to encourage me to do these sessions on a daily basis. Okay. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, I would encourage you to subscribe to the portal. So as I consider to expand these kinds of sessions to that you would be notified when these kinds of things would take place. Again, that's really all I'm asking you to do is to hit the likes and give me a comment or two on the portal on how this analysis is supporting your view and understanding of the markets. Okay. So yeah, so with that marketing, I will go ahead and move on to the NASDAQ here. All right, we'll take a look at the NASDAQ and see what the market is holding. Again, we are developing yet another bullish candle here to the upside. Okay, in a market that continues to really not show any signs of stalling here. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn off ADR here for a moment, and we'll turn it on later. Okay. So market continues to show strength to the upside. We're above all our indicators. We broke this little consolidation pattern that we were tracking to the upside. I'm kind of taking a look and seeing maybe kind of where we're at with respect to this measured move here. If I take the most recent swing, I'm trying to figure out exactly what swing I want to track. Maybe we'll take a look at it on the 4-hour chart. That might look a little bit better, but we had this consolidation pattern. We broke above it. We got some initiative buying to come into this market. I think this is probably a result of some of the news or anticipation of new interest rates maybe falling here a little bit. So we got another rally in the market. So we'll take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, we're continuing to kind of staircase our way here to the upside in this market. So we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance. We're above settlement price. We had a nice move in yesterday's session to the upside. I would say overnight was maybe a little bit neutral to range. Okay, during the overnight session, I'm trying to see here if there's a swing here that I can actually use here to maybe offer me an opportunity to understand where this price can go. Really, the only thing I'm seeing here is maybe I can use this one on the 4-hour. Probably become a little better if I did this on the, but if I took this swing here and then use this as a retracement, well, here's a goal, right? Here's a target. 25,000 is the 61.8% extension of this swing. Okay, so that would be considered a little bit of a measured move, right? A measure of this swing here, right? So a measure of this swing here, right? From here to here, this is what we could expect potentially to see in the NASDAQ, all right, based on the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, let's see if that maybe clears up there a little bit and see if I can maybe make sense of that a little bit more. Yeah, so again, you're seeing that swing that I had mentioned on the 4-hour. We pulled back, and again, we're coming into that 61.8% extension of that swing as a potential target for this current move, okay? That's kind of what we're seeing. Assuming that we can get above 24,800, I don't see any reason why we don't visit 25,000, okay, in this market. All right, let's take a look here at the fixed range volume profile here. So looking at the fixed range volume profile, we'll look at yesterday's session here and see what yesterday's session had to offer and in relation to where price is currently. Okay, so you can see that we are back inside the value range from yesterday, which could indicate that we could be seeing some range kind of price action in this market. So you can see that this 24,800 level is kind of rearing its head here. We do see that price is above some of the things that we care about: settlement, VWAP, 90 MA, all positive, all indicating that maybe there is some further upside in this market. All right, let's go ahead and open up the, let's say, the visual range volume profile here. So we're smack in the middle of the range here, right in the middle. Okay, so really not an area that I would like to be super active. Okay, I don't want to be active in these high volume areas because I don't know which direction that they're going to take this market. I'd like to focus on some of the edges of that volume, right? Maybe down here around 24,700. That would be around the settlement price from yesterday. Or if I'm more bearish on the market, which is hard to imagine, but I'm sure there's people thinking that at some point this has to go down. 24,800 would be a nice level, maybe to entertain something in the way of some sort of reversal in the anticipation that maybe we are in some sort of range kind of price action, or that we will be in range for the remainder of the session here. Okay, so let's take a look at the initial balance. Let's take a look at what some of these markets had offered us here. So it looks like a little bit of a mixed bag here. So let's take a look at the Asia session. Asia looks like offered us a little bit in the way of, what is that? A little bit of a way of maybe a bearish opportunity here, right? We got to the 50% extension. We didn't travel too far away to the downside before we found some buyers. So again, these extension levels offer us logical locations where we can participate in the market. We got a nice extension to the 50%. We get some indication using the reversal candles here that would indicate that maybe the downside auction has stalled. We get our 3-bar, and then we basically get into an upside auction in this market. We get above our settlement, we get above our 90 MA, and now we continue to develop some structure here that indicates that maybe we'll continue to the upside here. Okay, let's take a look at the London. Okay, looking at London here, you can see that London was very much bullish on this market, right? So again, do you ever use the market session indicator by Edgeful to see Asia, London? I don't because I don't know. Obviously, I do. I mean, I have access to it, Faye, but I don't make it available here because I don't know if everybody has access to it. Okay, so I basically go with whatever indicators that I have to communicate, and not only have, but are also available to others. Okay. So yes, I do have access to that session indicator from Edgeful, but I don't use it because I know it's not available to others. Okay. London looks more directional. Yes, Aslan, London does look more directional than Asia. Okay. So I don't know. There's no denying, right? There's no denying that there is maybe some momentum here that's coming in to the upside in this market. I'm looking at volume here to see if volume is giving me any indication. It is positive, but I can't say that I'm overwhelmed with the interest here to the upside. So we'll have to wait and see, and see what kind of initial balance range we get in the regular session. I know that there's still a fair amount of distance to my average daily range, right? I'm right smack in the middle of this range, so I'm basically equidistant to to an upside target or to a downside target. Yeah, really light volume right now, but I mean, it is to be expected, right? We're about 25 minutes or 20 minutes away from the open of the markets. So yeah, really light volume. Again, when there's light volume, the markets have the tendency to grind higher. Okay, so we need to be wary of that. But in any case, that's kind of what the market that we're in right now. Seeing indications with the initial balance on London side that we are in some sort of upside auction at the moment here during London, and there's obviously a little bit of overlap between London and the New York session here. So we'll have to wait to see what the U.S. session offers and see if it's going to continue, all right, or whether we remain in this kind of range that we're seeing at the moment in this market, right? A lot of overlapping candles here. So I would say that headed into the session, given what I'm seeing in the London, I would have to say that the market sentiment at the moment seems to be bullish. Okay, so we need to look for opportunities, I would say, that are aligned with in the bullish direction. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P here. And again, I would expect that it's going to be very similar to what we're seeing on the Nasdaq. Sorry. So you can see that old pattern that I had that I was tracking, this ascending rising wedge, that's been broken. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. That's no longer giving us really any offering us any insights here. So I don't know about you guys, but this seems awfully vertical. Okay, this move that we're seeing to the upside is awfully vertical. Now the question is this something that is sustainable, right? On a healthy market, right? Healthy market is generally 45 degrees, is generally healthy, right? The fact that we're above that is causing me a little bit of pause here, right, as to the health of this upside move. Okay, but nonetheless, it's still higher, right? We're seeing market continue to grind to the upside. I would say that we are a bit extended from the 9 EMA. That's what's causing me maybe the sort of this feeling that we are maybe a little bit overextended to the upside in this market. Okay. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart, looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. Okay. If I can locate it, turn this off. Okay. So looking at this, okay, so let's widen these bars up again. So again, I can't say that this is the prettiest price action that I've seen in this market, right? So, but it remains, right? It remains higher, right? So we got a little bit of retracement, took out a lot of, I guess maybe weak hands here, right, on the buy side, and then it continued higher, and then we continue to see evidence, right? I would say more evidence that there's interest here to participate in this market to the upside. Some aggressive buying, right? Coming in at 66.93, 66.71, all indicating that maybe there's some more upside. Now, we did get a similar kind of move here, right? Sellers kind of stepping in here, but they weren't able to create a new low. As a result of all this movement, they weren't able to move the market in the anticipated direction. The best they could do was kind of stall the advancement. And now we're resuming our auction here to the upside. So a lot of strength I'm seeing here on the 4-hour chart to the upside. Okay. 30-minute chart also indicating the same kind of strength, right? We see that price is above our 9 EMA, right? Above our VWAP, above settlement. And we're above, actually on the upper edge of value here, right? That could easily cause us to move into some sort of trend in this market, right? So I'm kind of looking at the visible range volume profile here to the right-hand side. Okay, the narrower the range, the more balance I'm in. The wider the range, the more I can say that we are maybe in some sort of impulsive move to the upside. Okay, let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile and let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. So I'm going to go ahead and locate my price here, drag that across to the close. And you can see that we are on the upper end of value. All right. Now, if we are in some sort of bear side structure, well, then the anticipation would have been that this would have caused price to stall here a little bit, right? Would have caused maybe price to reverse. But if I draw my channel, and again, I'm looking at this, right, you can see that we've broken the channel here to the upside. Okay, so we've had a break to the upside, right? We had multiple tests of this upper end of the channel. We finally broke it to the upside, so momentum continues to be higher here. Okay. All right, let's take a look. Yes, buyers are very much in control of this market currently. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the initial balance and let's see what the various markets are able to say here. So this is initial balance from London. Okay. So you can see London, real strong side auction trade, kind of working our way to the 200% extension. Okay. So again, probably not the 200% extension of London is probably not an area where I want to initiate longs. Okay, guys, just saying, right? As much as I'm happy to see, or not happy, as much as I see that we are in a bullish move, this area right here is probably not an area that I want to necessarily initiate a long, right? I'd like to be able to maybe initiate a long on some sort of pullback to some sort of known level, whether it's the 9 EMA, whether it's VWAP, whether it's some prior area of support or resistance, right? So London, very much, I guess, bullish, okay, in this market. I would expect that Asia was initially bearish and then maybe a little bit of a failed auction, kind of, yeah, exactly, right? We got a 100% extension to the downside, right? 100% to the, so possible break, fake out, so patience for retracement. Yeah, I would say that's Gerardo. I think that would probably be in the cards, right? Because we don't get to the as you can see here, right? Gerardo, we got on Asia, right? We got an extension, right, to the downside and managed to get to the 100% extension before it reversed, right? So again, I don't know if the Asia is still holding positions here to the short side. I would say that maybe they've closed their positions and maybe turned bullish, if anything. But yeah, I think coming back to that initial balance, right, and on the London side, we would probably be better served in waiting for price to retrace, right, back, right, to some sort of level here, rather than, yeah, maybe a break and then a fake out back to the downside. I don't necessarily see this as an area where I want to kind of enter long. Okay. As much as I see that we are in a market that's bullish, I need the market to give me something in the way of some sort of retracement to participate in this market. Okay. This is too rich on the bull side for me to participate. All right. Okay, let's take a look at the Dow here and see what the Dow is doing, if it's doing anything different. Again, you can see a very nice. Again, this is kind of classic. Again, this is right here. I think I need to move the London, guys, because I see very clean moves here to the upside. Okay, nice extension to the upside. We got a retracement back to the high end of initial balance, and it offers us a textbook opportunity here to the upside in the Dow. Okay, this is textbook. Yes, nice. It has a nice everything, Aslan. Okay, we got a nice break. We got a nice break of channel, and it initiated a nice upside move in this market. This is as A as it gets here, guys, right here. Okay. Let's take a look at the daily chart just to kind of confirm what we're already seeing on the lower time frame charts. You can see that we are in a steady state here to the upside. I would say that similar to the ES, I feel like we are a bit extended to the upside. But again, I have to read what the market is telling me. The market is telling me that there's still some upside opportunity in this market. All right. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart, looking at the 4-hour chart. Yeah. During sleep hours. Yeah. Yeah. That's the story of my life. But in any case, I'm not bitter. All right. Okay. So you can see here again, we are in some sort of staircase. We're staircasing our way higher. We're developing yet another bullish, candle here, kind of a 3-bar reversal candle pattern here against the 9 EMA. Again, indicating that maybe there's a continuation of opportunity to the upside in this market. Obviously, 46,700 is going to be an area that's going to be watched on whether or not we're going to be able to extend that range to the upside. Again, I'm kind of inclined to, again, draw my little channels here, right? And see, okay, well, as long as I remain in the channel, then maybe I stay bearish. But otherwise, right now, I'm feeling that I need to find some opportunity. Again, would have been nice if I was maybe able to participate maybe back when it pulled back down to this level. But nonetheless, we appear to be in some sort of upside auction in this market. We've already looked at the 30-minute chart, and we've already seen that during London, right? We've already seen again Asia, right? Oh, is this London? London? Yes, London. We've already seen that we got a nice extension, right, to the upside. Okay, nice extension to the upside in this market. We have our average session ranges here, targets, okay, as to where price could potentially reach before we see any sort of reversal in price. That's also hovering around the 200% extension of this current move. All right, so London indicating bullish. If I open up, I'm going to go ahead and remove some of my channels here, guys, because that's starting to interfere with my review of this chart. Okay, I'm going to shut this down as well. And we're going to go open up the fixed range volume profile here. Okay, and we're going to start with yesterday's session here and drag this across to the close. Okay, so we are still in balance or on the upper end of value. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting area for me. Okay, does it manage to get above value? That would be initiative, right? If we can get above 46,627, that would be initiative. We've already seen some initiative price action with the break of initial balance, a retest of initial balance high, and now we are in some auction to the upside. So I would be wary, I would say, of 46,675. If it's going to be an area that where we could get a pullback, again, that would be the sort of the recent high here. That would be an area that maybe we could see a little bit of a pullback in price, right? So as much as I'd like to participate to the bull side of this market, it's starting to get a little bit pricey for me to participate in this move. I need to wait for some sort of pullback if I get it, right? Some sort of pullback maybe that would offer me some location where I can participate on the bullish side. So I would say that across the board, across all the equities, the market is bullish, but we are coming into some areas where we could see a little bit of a pullback, not the kind of pullback that's going to be sustained. I would say that the pullback I would expect to see is probably going to be of the order of sort of more of the retracement variety. Okay. And that the sentiment overall across the equities remains bullish. Okay. So let's take one final look across all the markets here, guys. And also I'm going to take a peek here to see if there's any questions. Okay, so again, London continues to be in range in the gold market. I'm going to open up the day session here, see if I can get to my initial balance for the day and see what that is telling me. All right, so oops, not overnight, but the day session. Okay, so here we are. I would say relatively wide initial balance range. Like I said, we could easily remain in range throughout the day here, guys. There's really nothing here that would tell me that we are necessarily secure in seeing an auction to the upside. Okay, we could continue to remain in range since I guess the beginning of London. We've been in that kind of range, right? So right now, I would say maybe neutral to bullish. Okay, in this market, I'm seeing maybe some evidence of that, neutral to bullish, but I honestly need to see price get above 36.92 to really embrace. I do see that we have this ADR high here at 36.97 or ASR high here at 36.97. This could also offer us again another location, maybe of a little bit of a fake out Gerardo, right? Where we get maybe a push higher, and only for the market to reverse on us. Okay, so that's certainly a possibility here. Okay. All right, so that's kind of what I have for the gold. Taking a look at the crude, very difficult for me to really embrace this to the long side. Honestly, we continue to see price action that basically wants to head lower. Okay, we are seeing maybe some interest here at 62.60, but we are continuing in some sort of bear side structure. So if I'm going to participate in this market, which is going to be highly doubtful, but if I am going to participate in this market, it has to be, for me, it has to be to the downside. Okay. All right. And then across all the equities, guys, I think we've already kind of talked about this. There's nothing in here that tells me that we are heading lower. Looks like we want to grind higher. But I have to be wary of the fact that we're coming into some areas where we could see price reverse. 24,800 could be that area. So if I'm long, let me be long in an area where I can manage my risk. This is not an area where I want to participate in the longs, and no matter as much sentiment I have here to the long side. Okay, ES looking similar. Okay, all the equity markets giving me the kind of same look and feel here. Bullish with coming into an area of resistance, and then Dow is no different. Okay, bullish coming into some areas of resistance. Okay. So that's kind of what I have for you guys today. Just going to pause here to see if there's any questions overall. But it looks like we could be, maybe a little bit range to bullish in the gold, bearish, I would say, crude oil, and then across the equity markets, bullish to range possibility today, since it is Friday. Okay. So if there are no questions, guys, we'll go ahead and close this session off. Again, remind you guys, yeah, excellent. That's all we can do, right? We have our levels and we have our bias, and then we need to let the charts tell us the direction, okay, on where they want to take it. All right, guys. You have a nice weekend as well, Aslan. So we'll go ahead and close this session. As we close out the session, guys, trade well, trade safe. Trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading. Again, guys, it is Friday. It's Capital Preservation Friday, guys. So don't be too aggressive with your positions. Scalp, take money where you see money, and call it. And if once you hit your profit targets for the day, it's probably not a bad idea to shut down for the day, right? Because the more we expose ourselves to a market that could potentially be range today, the more we can, with the more opportunities we have of giving back some of the hard-earned capital that we earned over the course of the week. Okay. All right, guys, have an excellent day trading. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have a great session today, and we'll talk again soon.